tested out month after month, year after year, how to stop my period cramps naturally without any type of medication or supplement. And what I'm about to tell you are the top things that work for me every single time. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump into the video. So just a quick little note, I have always had pretty consistent periods. The times that I haven't have usually been related to stress or diet, and I've figured out how to tailor my diet to make sure that I get my period every single month, get it on time, and getting it on a plant-based diet, which I've been on for almost 4 years now. And if you are not having your period once a month and it's unrelated to a contraception that you're taking, please go get that checked out by a doctor because it is not normal. This first thing that I do every single month is actually kind of the opposite of what you might find when you Google it, but I eat less. My periods last exactly 5 days, and the first 2 days are when I will have the most pain, the heaviest flow, and be the most tired if I don't pay attention to how large my meals are. So the more food I eat, the more blood I produce, and the more intense my cramps are. Now, I am not an advocate for deprivation when it comes to dieting or really anything. I count my macros every so often, usually just for my YouTube videos, and I've learned that I eat on average around 2,500 to 3,000 calories every single day. But around my period, I have tested consuming less, and it freaking works like magic to get rid of cramps. So I would estimate that I eat around 2,000 calories a day on those first 2 days of my period. So it's still plenty of calories. And number 2 is to eat dense. So because I like smaller meals, that means my meals need to be denser in nutrients. And because I'm plant-based, this usually translates into me processing my foods more. So they are smaller in volume size, but still contain plenty of calories and nutrients, making my foods easier to digest because I've broken down the fibers. I get intense cramps, especially if I have high fiber foods. Fiber is super important and great, but I eat a whole food plant-based diet, so I usually eat more than double of what the recommended daily fiber intake is. When I consume my typical fiber amount on my period, this is a little bit TMI, but I'm gassier, and then I'm also more bloated and tired. A lot is already going on down there during this time, so my body just doesn't need the added work. And what is low fiber for me is more than likely actually high fiber for someone who is not on a whole foods plant-based diet. So if you know that you eat less than 25 grams of fiber every single day, you actually might want to increase your fiber count on your period and just in general. So I will either remove high fiber foods from my diet like beans, lentils, or I will just eat very processed versions of those. So say like a black bean burger, I'll mash it up really nice and good. Or lentil pasta. I have my favorite lentil pasta that I eat by Explore Cuisine. I eat it all the time. And again, this is just for the first 2 days. So I always go back to normal eating on my 3rd day. That's just what personally works for me. And the 3rd thing I do is eat, drink, and bathe in heat. One of the absolute best ways to stop period cramps is heat, whether that's internally or externally. So almost everything that I eat or drink on my period is either room temperature or warm. And especially during the colder times of the year, everything that I consume is warm, closer to hot temperature to keep everything nice and warm down there and alleviate a lot of pain. And the cold, whether it's internal or external, will actually intensify cramps. And number 4, I drink a lot of alcohol. I'm just kidding. I actually don't drink any alcohol on my period. I almost rarely drink alcohol these days anyway. Actually, alcohol will make you more bloated, dehydrated, and definitely intensify your cramps. You want to make sure to stay hydrated on your period. So that means drinking a lot of water. And drinking more water actually helps you to de-bloat, which bloating is a huge factor of being on your period. And of course, it helps alleviate cramps. My usual intake of water is around 96 to 128 ounces of water every single day. And so I usually just stay around there on my period. Sometimes I'll drink more, it depends. So it's like I may skip out on a snack and instead drink water, just depending on if I know if I eat more that it will trigger some cramps, so I usually just will swap it out for water. I also reduce my caffeine intake when I'm on my period because caffeine can trigger cramps. However, I absolutely love caffeine, so I can never give it up completely, so I just minimize it. Sometimes I'll swap out coffee for black tea instead, and I never have overly sugary beverages. When it comes to beverages, I keep it super simple. On or off my period, it's usually just coffee or tea with a low sugar milk and tons of water or water with lemon or herbal teas. And the next thing is kind of all encompassing of a variety of different things, but that is to be consistent on and off your period. So this is what I do. I personally implement this. I found that if I eat really poorly right before my period, I know I'm getting cramps. It doesn't matter if I immediately change my diet right over the first day of my period. It's just like, it's almost just there immediately. This just means that you want to be eating mostly whole foods that are rich in vitamins. You want to be exercising regularly. Exercise is known to help alleviate cramps. So I exercise consistently. You want to be doing this like all year round. I've realized that the more consistent in diet and exercise I am, the easier and easier my periods have gotten over time. And I've also slowly stopped having cravings. Not that I don't crave certain foods sometimes, like say if I want sugar, but I just opt for fruit. My body has now adapted to be able to eat normally without an intense desire to binge eat and snack on sugar junk food or just other processed junk foods while on my period or off my period. And I have a lot of meal plans and what I eat in a day on my channel that follow my dieting philosophy. I wouldn't really call it a diet. Nobody likes to call their diet a diet, but it's just the way that I eat. You can check all of those videos out. And in my next video, I'm actually gonna give you 2 full days of what I eat on my period. I filmed this while I was actually on my period, so it's actually my first and second day on my period. That video is coming out next. And I will also explain some of the very specific vitamins and minerals that you need that will also actually help alleviate your cramps. So hit the bell to get notified of when I post that next video. That's down below by the subscribe button, I think. And yeah, I will see you then.